that two-back set really impacted you guys offensively?
I feel like it kind of increased our versatility and, using both running backs in the pass game and run game, and also helps a little bit of our play action pass. So just being able to have them both in the backfield as a threat for run and pass kind of just increases and kind of keeps the defense on their toes a little bit more.
Didn't y'all do that back when your freshman year? Didn't y'all have some two backs? Because I know your offensive coordinator specialized in that.
Yeah, a little bit with Travion and Keith Ford.
Yeah, so you were already familiar with how that works. Is there like a rule of thumb that you play that differently as opposed to like the normal I formation?
A little bit. I mean, I would say more zone read because obviously you can't read an I, but a little bit more zone read and, inside zone, I would say.
Is this two-back different than the way you ran it 2 years ago?
Yeah, a little bit different. I would say we run a little bit more out of it. But just being able to, you run like speed option off of the two-back and inside zone and just a little bit of variation of stuff.
Did you get a sense that the defense was confused? Because Coach Fisher said they don't typically see that a lot anymore.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely, it definitely helps the quarterback in being able to, read defenses and a lot of time we are able to gash them and, kind of, like I said, keep the defense on their toes and being able to check plays different ways based on what the defense is giving us. So definitely an advantage.
On Richardson's touchdown, I looked up and saw him break open. What was it? Was that a zone read or an option? I didn't see how it started.
It was outside zone. It was supposed to go to the left, and I ended up checking it back to the right just based on what the defense was in.
That's a good play.
Yeah, ended up scoring.
How nice to see him to come on now.
I mean, it's really big, and I've always thought that he could give us a real spark in the offense, and obviously just got to continue to gain coach's trust, and like I said, that starts in practice. So I'm just kind of seeing his growth each and every week. I mean, I look forward to him, getting more carries each and every week.
Do you see this as a unique situation with the two teams that y'all face coming up, that y'all will have a big hand in what the playoff ultimately ends up looking like?
I think so, but like I said, we just want to focus on Georgia right now, and obviously, they're in the playoff contention, but we just want to go out and execute at a high level on all three phases, and we want to go out and win on the road.
You get to go to Georgia for the first time and face them for the first time. Do you like seeing new opponents and new stadiums?
I think that's pretty exciting, and we've heard a lot about it, and heard it's going to be pretty hostile, so I think that adds a little bit more excitement for us on the road.
Jimbo was talking earlier about all the blitzes that Georgia might throw at you, all the pass rush. Have you watched a lot of film of them? Are they going to be more aggressive than any of the defenses you played?
I thought South Carolina was pretty aggressive, but obviously a different defense, and they might throw some different stuff at us. But just got to be prepared, and so got to have a good week of practice and preparation, and just got to take it one day at a time.
You knew Tua from camps and stuff, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Have you reached out to him? What did you think about that whole situation and where he's going from here?
I didn't reach out to him. I heard he was coming down to Houston for surgery, and just kind of one of those freak accident plays, and just a guy who wanted just to finish the first half, and then right when he comes back in, it's kind of a freak accident. So it's obviously something that he couldn't control or the coach couldn't control.
Is it hard sometimes to shake the image of something like that out of your mind when you're out there scrambling and running around and doing what he was doing?
When you're like back when I was looking at it, obviously that stuff kind of runs through your mind. But I mean, when you're out on the field, you're you're just kind of reacting, so you're not really thinking about that stuff, especially when you're scrambling around.
What do you think you learned in the first three big-time quote-unquote ball games you've played, Kellen? Auburn, Clemson, and Bama. What do you take from that into this one?
I think a lot of them kind of have, different variations, just, based on the different teams. And but especially on the road, we're going to have to bring, our own energy, our own juice. Obviously, it's going to be, like I said, a hostile crowd. So we got to bring our own excitement and, bring our own passion to the game.
Being battle-tested, though, does that do anything for you guys? Been through the fire, so to speak?
Yeah, we have. But, like I said, it also doesn't matter what they do. We just got to control what we can control. And like I said, so it's going to start today. And also, recovery and, film watching and what we do out on the practice field.
How much better are you guys as a team, though, right
Yeah.
now than you were when you played those three teams?
I think we've grown a lot, and adding, you see Jalen coming around a lot, CJ also, Isaiah's playing a lot better. So just some of those guys who haven't really had as much experience coming into those games, you see a lot of their growth. So just like I said, it kind of helps with that versatility of play calling, and kind of can keep the defense on their toes.
So Richardson goes by CJ. I keep hearing y'all talk about
Oh
it.
yeah,
Is he a junior? Is that what it is?
I think so. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, on another topic on you, Coach Fisher was talking about how he couldn't be prouder of you right now. He's just really giving you lots of compliments and his availability. Does he convey that to you, or is he still kind of like a perfectionist and demand? I mean, how do you and he interact these days?
I would say it's kind of both. Obviously, like I said, he's going to constantly always be hard on me, and that's kind of how I kind of treat myself too. And I'm a perfectionist, and so is he. So, but obviously, a lot of the times off the field, we talk about how I could be better, but also how good I've become. And so, I would just say he could play both sides, and that's why I feel like our relationship is so good at this point.
Well, everybody likes to hear compliments about themselves. I mean, it helps, doesn't it, when your coach is bragging on you like that?
Everyone likes self-affirmation, but it's also good to have a coach that's going to constantly stay on you and push you and make sure you're never satisfied.
Going against him in practice, have you seen Charles Oliver develop from last year to this year and had the success he had in the last game?
Just from him playing defensive back or corner at first, and then switching to nickel. I always think that's a lot harder, playing in more space. But he's come around and playing a lot better. So it's always good to see our defensive backs playing like that, and other cornerbacks making plays.
Kellen, we hear about first-year players hitting the freshman wall. As you look back, do you remember feeling like you hit that? And why do you think that your young guys haven't really seemed to this year?
I feel like we have a really good coach that can, make sure no one's ever satisfied, and pretty much keeping the pedal to the metal on them. And obviously those guys that make mistakes in practice and even in the games, but I always try to encourage them and tell them go on to the next play. And it's just something that from us leaders, me, Jamon, and other players from the defense, just got to continue to tell them. Obviously they're young, and they're kind of thrown into the fire, but you see the way they kind of react, and they just continue to keep fighting, and they make big plays.
And did you feel like you hit it?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Kellen, when you go to a different venue for the first time, Georgia's one of those kind of traditional SEC trips that I think people look forward to. Do you pay attention at all, to when you go to a new place? I guess, do you take it in, or is it something that matters to you at all?
I think so. Obviously, it's I would say a once-in-a-lifetime thing to go on the road and play in the SEC at Georgia. Kind of felt like that when we went to Florida our freshman year, but obviously one of those cool venues. But we can't really fall in love with what the venue has to offer. Just at the end of the day, it's it's a football game. It's a SEC football game.
What brought you to a place like this, though?
Definitely.
Jamon said earlier that against Clemson and Bama, you guys almost maybe wanted to win too much. Do you believe that's a real thing? If so, how do you kind of keep this game in perspective?
I would definitely say that against Clemson, and maybe a little bit against Alabama, but I feel like we kind of learned from that. And but especially on the road, you can't make anything bigger than what it is. At the end of the day, it's just a football game, and you can't hype it up too much, because then you're just adding extensive pressure on yourself. And so we just got to go in there, play our game, but it starts this weekend, today at practice.
Is Georgia kind of a stranger, or maybe kind of like a lost relative, considering you guys are in the same conference and haven't played them yet? And do you kind of wish you guys could play some of these more cross-division games against the East teams?
I do think so. Obviously, schedules are made, quite a while back, but being able to play those types of games, that one time a year against one of those East teams, I think are, pretty exciting and always add, entertainment to the game.
What'd you think about Prater earning SEC offensive line honors this week?
I thought he played really well, and obviously their defensive line, South Carolina, was really good, and they brought some blitzes, and obviously sometimes they can be hard to pick up, but you know, seeing his game grow and, you know, just pretty much since his freshman year when he's been playing, and, you know, real proud of him.
What is the key to